Okay, top story today. Apple is working on adding touchscreens to Macs in a major turnabout. Well, listen, Will, you got to do something because I'm telling you, it's been exciting elsewhere for a while, and Apple has fantastic touch stuff going on with the biggest products in its lineup, right? Mm-hmm. With the iPhone, first and foremost, and then this iPad I've been using over here. Touch has so much potential still right now, which is, you might be sitting there thinking, I just want a laptop. I just want my keyboard. I still think there's this moment that we're waiting to have where the interfaces and software and capacitive touchscreens, where it just seems so intuitive, like we won't have to reach for these antiquated devices. I also am a big laptop guy. I got the laptop right over there as well. And there's something nice about a tactile keyboard. But other companies in the PC segment have found some sort of middle ground, some sort of dynamic alternative, which can do both, where you're lifting and flipping and flapping and clicking and clapping, and magnets might be involved. And the keyboard cases for the touchscreen, there's a convergence happening. And then all of a sudden you're having M chips inside of iPads, and you're like, but what do I even really do on them? And where's the software that I need? So can the whole thing converge? I don't know, because at the same time, Apple, they probably want to sell you 17 items. Yeah. So I don't know if it's one device to rule them all. But famously, Steve Jobs was never a fan of touchscreen laptops. And I mean, this is going way back now. And there's always been separation between iOS, iPadOS, and macOS. So if all of a sudden you start thinking about touch, you need to think about interfaces differently. And if you're just touching macOS, it's not really set up for that at the moment. Famously as well, Windows has had a different approach for how you're going to touch that with the variety of interfaces and such.
Metro UI.
Some failed. And then maybe there's some interface or software that doesn't even exist yet. But according to Bloomberg, which of course is Mark Gurman, MacBook Pro with OLED is poised to be the first touchscreen Mac. My goodness. That would be a big development from a company that seems to have been avoiding doing something like that for a long time. Scroll down. Let's look at the timeline real quick. Apple Inc. is working on adding touchscreens to its Mac computers, a move that would defy long-held company orthodoxy and embrace an approach that co-founder Steve Jobs once called ergonomically terrible. Well, maybe it was at the time. Maybe there's some alterations that could be made to the ergonomics. For more than a decade, the companies argue that touchscreens don't work well on laptops. They are a little bit far away, I will say that. And actually, in my own personal experience with the iPad Pro, I even prefer the shorter keyboard without the trackpad because it allows me to bring the screen closer to me at an angle that I find to be a little bit more pleasant. Whereas the new keyboard that they put out with the floating display, since it puts a trackpad there, it moves the screen further away. So then screens kind of have to get bigger if you want to have a decent sized trackpad. Do you understand what I'm saying on a desktop? So they'll have some challenges as far as ergonomics are concerned, but I would be so excited to see what Apple could do with some sort of convertible, some sort of yoga type situation. They could, I gotta believe they could do something cool, Will.
Exciting times.
You got the M chip in the iPad. If I can just find a way to flip and flap around an actual MacBook style enclosure and keyboard, and I'm clipping and clapping, I'm just putting that out there. Now, for those of you that noticed the red up in the corner, wherever it happens to be, somewhere over there, because of 000, I can spend, hang on a second, I can spend as long as I want on any topic, you understand? This is just a rough guideline for how long you need to wait for the next topic, but I can hit that damn buzzer. I can go to red, you understand, as well. So don't think for a second that I only... You see what I mean here?
There's a trap door under your seat.
No, I can go. If I need to go, I go. If there's things to be said, then things will be said.
All right.
This is just a guideline.
Got it.
Will.
Hurry up.
iPhone 16 Pro models could feature under-display Face ID. Isn't expected till 2024. Yeah, 16. That's 16, not 15, ladies and gentlemen. But these things take a long time to develop. We have seen under-display cameras. They haven't been the best up until this point with the whatever it is, pixel on off technology, screen door looking thing, it does diminish the appearance in the sense that it's less of a distraction, but it certainly also hurts quality and performance. So it depends on what you want to prioritize as a customer. For me, since I don't use the front-facing camera very frequently, I love the idea of embedding it. I love the idea of taking it away as a distraction. But for those that are frequently using that front-facing camera, they may prioritize quality. And if that's the case, then I don't think there's a one-to-one performance thing going on right now with this technology. It does take a hit being under display.
But this is exciting that Apple's doing it.
You think Apple
might do it right?
You think Apple can figure it out?
Yeah.
It's quite possible. Apple could finally bring under-display Face ID to the iPhone 16 Pro, according to a report from the Korean outlet The Elec. The Elec.
Wow.
Technology used for Face ID will live directly under the screen, blending in with the rest of the display. So you could do under-display Face ID without under-display camera. You could have a tinier camera and then hide the other stuff. These are all possibilities. The reason that it hasn't happened yet is the technology for under-display technology isn't there yet and has become evident with other phone companies that have tried incorporating under-display cameras like ZTE and many others. Obviously, the most recent Z Fold has a very subdued internal front-facing display. I mean, you barely notice the thing. So, yes, it's a decent development. You would hope that the technology by 2024 has advanced to a stage where you're not sacrificing as much quality in exchange for the covertness of the actual front-facing camera there.
Or maybe they have like a covert way to hide it, you know?
Like so that...
Like a black outline or something.
What are you saying? So like when it's not in use... See, this, but that's...
it does something.
Well, that's essentially how it's working right now, is it does appear differently whether it's in use or not in use. So... I don't know if there's going to be, if there's a way to even go further with that, where that, like, could you do it mechanically? Could you have it, some sort of section slide out? Like, at the moment, it's pixels turning on and off or changing their behavior. So I don't really know exactly how you improve that substantially, but you got to believe, that's the beauty of technology, Will. So somebody far smarter than the two of us is sitting there in the laboratory, and they're saying, oh, yeah, we'll take care of that, Tim.
Yeah, no problem.
I'm just going to need like a quick, I don't know, a couple $100 million.
Yeah.
And I'll spend the next year or so doing a better job than what's already out there. And you'll pay me extra per unit, but you won't care because your margins are astronomical. So you'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. Deal? Deal? Okay,
all right.
Cool. I'm talking to you, Tim.